Hello, everybody. I'm author Earl Sewell, author of more than 20 novels of fiction. I've written in the genres of historical fiction, young adult fiction, and mainstream fiction. And so this is a write-in where I invite you to sit and just write with me. What I am working on today is a piece of writing that I wrote back in on April 20th, 1989. This is from my writing archives, and you can see that back then they had different. Cuz. Back then they had different kind of paper. This is the paper that printed that used to go through the guide that used to have the perforated edges that you had to put off on it, and you can tell it's a draft because I still have notes all on the back of this. But this is a story about magical realism, and I no longer have this on a disc anymore. So I am putting this onto a computer. So excuse me, crumbs I was eating earlier. So so this is again a story about magical realism about a person who goes to the afterlife and runs into a bunch of their old buddies. And so I'm going to sit here and continue to write this. To retype this onto my computer. One of the interesting things that I've noticed is like my younger self, my younger version of myself was I was a very different writer back then. I was just not as polished as I am now. And so, one of the things I like to do when I write is I like to have like meditative music that I write to so that it helps to keep my mind focused on my task at hand. So, without further ado, for those folks who joined, thank you for joining. And let's sit down and I'm just going to start, rewriting this out or retyping this. The type on the page is very, very light because it's faded, so it's really it's a challenge to see it, but I can make out enough of it to figure it out. One of the things that I like to drink with, I like to drink my Pellegrino water. Love Pellegrino water. Nice and cold. Phone call that I had to ignore. So if you're here, you can feel free to type something or say something. I'm okay with that. Again, for those of you who are watching or will watch this later, I am writing. So I am actually working on a short story that's a magical realism story that I wrote back in 1989. as I look at the story and as I read the language, I'm amazed at how unpolished of a writer I was at this particular time in my career. But it's also interesting to see that I still have the basic structure or the basic narrative to tell a story. Excuse me. I haven't read this story in, my gosh, 99, 2009. No, 99, 2009, 30 years. I wrote this story 30 years ago. Wow, it's a long time. Okay. All right. So I went ahead and I typed about 2 pages of this, and that's pretty good, and I'm enjoying it. For right now, I'm going to sign off. I hope you enjoyed spending a little time with me, just sitting and writing. And that's how you get things done. When you want to write something, you set up the right writing space, and you sit and you just do it. And I tell you, as your fingers move across the page, page by page, inch by inch, you'll eventually get to the end of the journey. But also, part of it is to not forget to enjoy the journey of writing. It is truly a special gift to yourself, I think, to be able to sit with your thoughts and to give birth to your thoughts and to let them flow through you onto the page.